Okay, I hope you guys are ready to interact and have some fun, because really, otherwise, what's the point, right? Especially on when you do have finals and all the other stuff you have. So I want everybody to contribute and sort of be part of this, okay? So the first thing I'm going to ask is if anybody in here knows anyone that they would consider a BSer. Anybody? Great. Does anybody think that they are a BSer? Anybody? Maybe one. Good girl. She's telling the truth. Okay, the point is, if you go to any kind of a networking event, the first thing you're going to hear is BS, business speak. It's everywhere. So the first thing you're going to hear is something like, oh, we provide professional service solutions to Fortune 5,000 companies. Or we've been manufacturing quality materials since 1938. Just go on and on, okay? We provide software for, mid-tier cap companies who do X, Y, Z. Wouldn't it be great and so much fun if somebody said, I'm a CEO for Who Gives a Damn, and I make crap at the highest possible price I can, so I can command the biggest salary that I possibly can and go live in a gigantic house and play golf at the fanciest country club. Wouldn't that perk up your ears if you actually overheard that instead? I mean, really, that's what I'm talking about when I say authentic networking. I want you guys to be able to really come out into the business world, and I know some of you have been there and some of you haven't yet, but really kind of look at things a little bit differently than what the current generation, and I'll include myself in that generation, the way we grew up and the way we do stuff. So the first thing I think we have to do is talk about how do we become BSers? How does this happen? I mean, when you guys are in school, you meet a friend, you're not going, well, but in business, you start to do it. And the reason is you come out of school and you're in a new situation. Or you get a new job and you're in a new situation, and all of a sudden you're just a little bit doubtful, like, is this right for me? Am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? Is this what they want me to do? Is this what they told me to do? You're trying to adapt. Next thing you know, you're copying what other people are saying because that's what you're hearing all the time, and then it all of a sudden becomes a habit and you don't even realize you're doing it. And there's this jargon and lingo everywhere, and every industry has it. Doesn't matter, like when I do these presentations, I'll go to, let's say, a group of organizational dynamics people, and they have all their own engaging employees in blah, blah, blah. They have all their own BS lingo, and you go over to the software guys and they have their BS lingo, but it's rampant. And it's really meaningless, and it's become so meaningless that people don't even know. It's like the emperor with no clothes. People aren't even going to say, like, what are you even talking about? But usually you don't even know what they're talking about. So we're going to talk about that today, and we're going to say, what if it were different? What if you could actually just be who you were in every situation and be okay with that? Be okay with not knowing, be okay with asking, what the hell are you talking about when people say it? Just be okay with all of that. What would happen is that you would prevent so much BS. You would actually become more memorable. People would remember you because you wouldn't sound like everybody else. And ultimately, and the most important thing, is that you'd be happier. And actually, you would end up being more successful, which is the biggest thing that people don't realize. But do you believe me? I'll tell you why I came to this. I have been both a BSer and a truth teller. So I know. I started out in corporate, and I did a whole decade for, brand management. Learned about how to run a brand, how to understand a brand, how to talk to a consumer, et cetera, with these kinds of organizations. And then I left and had young children and took about a 6-year hiatus. After about a decade, I was in my early 30s when I stopped. Took about that much time off, and then I started my own business. Now, you would normally think that I was a BSer when I was at corporate, and then when I finally became my own boss, I became a truth teller. But it wasn't the case. Because what happened was, when I was your age and just going out into the working world, we didn't have what you guys have. We didn't have internships. We were never in any kind of professional situation until we actually got our first job. So when I got my first job, it was with Libby's, which is an old company. You guys probably never even heard of it, but they were bought by Carnation, and you have heard of Carnation, and then Carnation was bought by Nestle. So when I started, I didn't know any better. I didn't know about the BS factor, and I didn't know how I was supposed to be. So I actually was myself, and I said whatever I thought at any given moment, and it didn't matter who was around. And then all of a sudden people would start coming up to me and saying, like, how did you talk about that elephant in the room? Like, I can't believe you said this to that guy. And I was kind of like, oh, like, I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to. I thought that we were supposed to say what we thought, you know? I really was that stupid. And what happened was, it started to work for me. And I was getting promoted. And no one could understand why, and I couldn't either. And finally, I got promoted over a guy that was clearly the better candidate. And that was when I went to the boss who promoted me and said, why did I get this and that guy did not? And he said, well, clearly not because you're smarter. And we both agreed, because we knew this guy had like head and shoulders over me. And he said, but in this position, it's really important that somebody is able to talk to the senior management team in the same way that they talk to the guy from the mailroom and the person in purchasing and the person in distribution, and that's why you got the job, because you're able to do all of that. And I then thought I had this special talent, right? But then remember I told you about my own business and becoming a BSer and how it happens? Well, it happened to me then. Because I was in a new situation, I'd started my own business. Oh, by the way, my husband was my partner, and we had 2 kids in middle school, a giant mortgage, and like, you know, all of a sudden this whole different kind of lifestyle to support. And I was supposed to be the one who was in charge of getting the business, right? So somebody said, can you put a lipstick on this pig? And I was like, what shade do you want? I got a million of them, you know? And all of a sudden I stopped saying what I really thought about anything. It was just like, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that too. Sure. Yeah, I do that. I get that job, get that job, get that job. It took about 4 years to realize I had gone and become a complete BSer. It was horrible. All of a sudden I was like, why don't I like this? This is my own company. Why aren't I having any fun? It was because I had become somebody I couldn't stand in my earlier days. That'd be the kind of person I'd be like, who do they think they are? What are they talking about? I had become like that. And it was all because of this. I was afraid. I was afraid. And I didn't even realize that I was afraid. It just started happening. And that's what happens when we're in these situations where we're new. We kind of get like, and this fear builds up and we don't even realize that we aren't ourselves anymore. So that's when I stopped all of it, because not only was I a BSer myself, but because I was in marketing communications, I was contributing to the BS factor in the whole, for everyone I worked for, because they would say this stuff to me and I'd go, oh really? I'd act like what they were saying was actually meaningful when it was business speak. So I was contributing, I was writing things like that. So I decided no more, not doing it anymore. And if I have to, whatever, if I have to become a bag lady, if I have to do whatever, I'm gonna talk about things that are true and real and not business speak. And so since then, I've been talking about it publicly everywhere, and my company is so much more successful. So, you know, believe it if you want, but let's assume that you believe me, and then let's talk about how to do that. So the first thing, the first commandment of authentic networking is to know yourself. Yeah, and you guys have all gotten to a point where you know yourselves pretty well. But here's the thing for all of us. If you take your finger and you put it right on the end of your nose and you look down, you're cross-eyed. We can't always see ourselves because we've been walking around like this all the time. So what I want you to do is take your paper and your pen and write down 3 things about yourself. 3 things. And they can be whatever you want them to be. Hopefully they're positive, but they don't have to be. Anything. Do you guys in here know each other? For the most part? Okay, good. All right, who has 3? Who has their 3 written? You do. What's your name?
Jim.
Jim, what are your 3?
Flexible, hardworking, and outgoing.
Excellent. What are your 3? What's your name first?
August.
August?
Hopeful, kind, and empathetic.
Excellent. What are your what's your name?
Megan.
Oh, yeah.
Mine are different. I wrote, I love my family, I love shopping, and I love dogs.
Okay, put shopping, dogs, and family. That's good. Those are descriptive. That's okay. What are yours? What's your name first?
Brittany.
Brittany.
Organized, insightful, and curious.
Excellent. You guys are good. How about you? What's your name?
Gina.
Gina.
I'm honest. I love to laugh and I work hard.
Excellent. Okay. Now, those are, for most of you, you put things that you like about yourselves. That's what I wanted you to do. Okay? But I also want to know what others think. So I want you to get into groups of 3, and I want each of you to say 3 things about the other person. Okay? Just write from your own observation. And I'm going to put you in the groups. You're not going to pick. Okay? I'm going to put you 3 together. You're going to jump over and go with these 2. Matt? Okay? You, and you are going to come up here. I'm going to put you with these 2 guys. And then you 4. Okay, can you come back with these 4? Or you just jump up there and then you guys can turn your things. Now, everybody, oh, you're not in it. You jump in with anybody. All right, so here's how it's going to work. Everybody's first going to focus on look over here. Okay? Everybody take the one person in the group, and then these 2 write 3 things about them. Okay? And you hold for a moment. Then when they're finished, they'll move over to the second person, and these 2 will write 3 things. Okay? Everybody do the same thing in their group. Now, everybody's going to go, well, I don't know this person. Okay? Even if you don't know them, write 3 things, because guess what? That's how we judge. Doesn't matter if you know them or not. You've already judged them, and you know that. Okay? So write your 3 things. And they don't have to be positive. Take one person at a time. So now you're all going to do her.
Okay.
Then you're going to move. Then you're all going to do you. Okay? Did you do 3 things? Go ahead. Not yet. But you are going to. But I don't say that because I don't want you to be too nice.
Oh, sorry.
Okay? Yes.
Like their paper?
If you want. You know.
don't have to. Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to. We'll do it at the end where you collect it. Okay? Oh, yeah, yeah, switch. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, switch it up. Everybody, after that 3, then move to the next one. That's one. Everybody gets 3. Tell me when you're done. Tell me when your whole group is finished. Okay? One of my weaknesses, I don't give clear direction. You will in a minute. Just tell me when you're finished, though. You guys done? Okay. You guys are done? Are you guys finished? Okay. You guys finished? Okay. Almost? Okay. Hop 2. It doesn't take that long. I want the gut reaction, right? I don't want any really thoughtful response. Because again, we judge each other in snap seconds, not after all this time. Okay? All right, now in your group, I want you to share. You can either hand the person your 3 things, or you can just talk about it. You know what? What would you rather?
Talk about it.
Okay, so we'll just talk about it. But if you're the person, I want you to write down the other things that people say about you. I want you to have a list of 9 or 12 things, depending on what kind of group you're in. Okay?
Should we start with Noelle?
So start with Noelle. And Noelle, you just write down what everybody says about you.
Organized, proactive, and kind.
Okay. Now you tell Nicole, and then you guys go around.
I said you were smart, adaptable, and friendly. That was good.
Miss Positive Attitude over there. What's your name? Bettina. Okay. I'm going to call on you next. You're finished? Okay. Everybody finished? Yeah? Okay. All right, here you guys. Next thing I want you to do. Ready? Look up here. It says the most distinctive. I want you to circle on your list of 3, 6, 9, or 12 things the most distinctive word that came back to you. The most distinctive. However that means for you. I also want you to circle the word that came up the most often. Sometimes that'll be the same word, but most of the time it won't. Because we're not all that creative, frankly. None of us. Okay, what's your name? Chris. Would you share your most distinctive word and your most common?
My name was common because there was nothing to repeat it, but
Okay.
my distinct was organized.
That was the most distinctive. Okay. And if you would, what would you say to that? Would you say that that is super, super true?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Bettina, what was your most distinctive word and what was the most common?
Well, the common word was friendly.
Friendly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, well, distinctive might be adoptable.
Adaptable? Okay. And of both those words, which one do you think is more applicable to you?
Well, that's
I know. I say which one?
more, I guess friendly.
Friendly? Okay. I would bet it's not, but I'm gonna let you go with that. What's your name?
Adesa.
Okay. Just say the letter of, what's the first letter?
O.
O, Jesa? No.
L-E-S-Y-E.
O-L-E. Olesa. Close?
Yeah.
Olesa. All right, say it again.
Adesa.
Alesa.
There's
Alesa.
no English.
Real translation. Not Elise, maybe? Not even? No. Okay, let's go with Olesa. Plus, we don't want a translation. You don't translate your name. Your name's your name. Okay, which we're actually going to talk about your name in a minute. But first, tell me your distinctive and your common.
I think distinctive would be smile a lot.
Okay.
And common, active, energetic.
Active, energetic. Okay, good. Who else? Who's going to share? You, Matt?
Andrew.
Andrew.
Yes.
Sorry, why am
That's
I
all
calling
right.
you Matt?
I don't know, but that's my brother's name.
Oh,
so.
maybe look. My brother's name is Matt too.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. So my most common word was kind,
Oh,
and this most distinctive word I circled was insightful.
insightful. Okay. And then would you say, which one would you say was more true? If you had to pick.
I mean, both, Terry, obviously, but probably insightful.
Okay.
You know?
Good. All right. How about you? What's your name?
I'm Tina.
Tina.
So my most common was they said like I have a great laugh and a good smile. So I
Mhm.
think they kind of go together. And then my most distinctive is confident.
Excellent.
And
Okay, and you think that's true?
Yeah.
Okay. Who did I miss? I missed all you guys in the middle here. All right. We're going to come to you next, okay? So what I want you to do now is I want you to say 3 things about you that you don't think are great. I wouldn't call them weaknesses necessarily, but I would call them things that you either try to hide or that you're not crazy about them, that part of yourself, that you're not perfect. I know, it's hard to imagine, right? But mine, it would be called flake factor. I would put right as top. Like, I just forget everything, put shit in the wrong places. You know, it's just, it drives me crazy about myself. I can't stand myself with that. So if whatever that is with you, that you're constantly going like, ugh, write it down. And if you can't think of anything, write self-awareness. Y'all wrote something already? All right. What's your name? Oh, are you finished?
No.
Not finished. Okay, what's your name?
Rachel,
Rachel, what did you write?
I said that I procrastinate, I'm easily sidetracked, and I'm forgetful.
Oh, you wrote 3 things.
thought
Did I say 3 things? Yeah, I did.
Oh.
Sorry. I think I wrote 3 things and said 1 thing, didn't I? What the hell did I say?
I think you said 3 things.
Okay, good. What did you say again then?
I said I procrastinate, I'm easily sidetracked and forgetful.
Oh, okay, good. She and I, we're like the buddy sisters. Okay, who else didn't I call on you? What's your name? Christina, what did you write?
I procrastinate. I forget everything if I don't write it down.
Okay.
And I become frantic at times.
Okay. Yeah, there's a common theme here. What about yours?
I said procrastinate, passive, and I'd say sometimes I'm too self-aware.
Okay, that's good. What about yours?
Procrastination.
Oh my gosh. How do you guys get anything done around here?
I'm also kind of lazy.
Oh, that's
I,
good.
Like placate people rather than stand up for them.
Okay, I am so proud of you guys. What did you write, Megan?
I wrote, sometimes I make decisions too quickly. I can get stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like the opposite, but sometimes too analytical.
Okay. So sometimes rash and sometimes stuck. Okay? That's normal. All right, what about you? You're the only one I haven't called on yet.
I procrastinate.
Okay.
I can be overly analytical,
Mhm.
and then not that it's a terrible thing, but at times I can be shy at first.
Okay.
and get to know people.
Yeah. What's your name first?
Courtney.
Courtney.
I said that I have a short patience,
Mm.
that I'm a master procrastinator,
Mm-hmm.
and then also sometimes I struggle to delegate tasks.
Okay. So she's not just a procrastinator, she's a master procrastinator. Okay, those are really, really good, you guys. You have a lot of self-awareness. Now, one of the things when you're interviewing, has anybody talked to you about talking about your weaknesses in interviewing? Have you guys, do you know how to do it? Do they tell you to turn it into a strength? Total BS. Okay? That weaknesses are not strengths, people. Okay? Hello? That's another one of those just like business speak things. They are not strengths. What is interesting is about what your job is, right? So if you don't delegate well, you'd be a great entrepreneur because you have to do freaking everything, right? So at that point, it's not a weakness. It's still a weakness, but it's not as much of a weakness in that situation as it is in other situations where you might have a team of 6 underneath you waiting for you to give them something to do. Then it's a problem. So you guys got to really think about your weaknesses more than your strengths. And you got to think about them in terms of getting into a place where your weaknesses are not what you're always going to deal with all the time. Okay? That's the biggest thing, because we can get so unhappy so quickly if we have to do stuff that we suck at all the time. And don't let people tell you, well, if you talk about it this way or this way, it becomes a strength. It does not. When I was getting reviewed by 2 guys, and I was probably about, I'd say 28. So I'd been working enough, maybe I was close to 30. I'd been working enough that wasn't like brand new, but I had 2 bosses, and there was the boss and then the boss's boss, and they were giving me the review, and the first thing that the boss says is, you are tenacious to a fault. And the guy, his boss says, no, I love that. That's her best thing. And they spent the rest of the review arguing about whether or not tenacity was, or my brand of tenacity was a strength or a weakness. And I just sat there. I didn't even really know I was tenacious. I didn't really thought, I didn't even kind of was like, well, what do they even mean? But the point is that our weaknesses are really in the eyes of the beholder. So they're really just attributes. They're really traits. They're kind of just part of who we are. But we kind of need to stop looking at them so much as weaknesses and just sort of part and parcel of who we are, and let the job and the person you're working with and all the rest of it decide if that's a strength or a weakness. Now, if they decide you've got a boatload of weaknesses, then you've got the wrong job, okay? But they really shouldn't. The next thing about knowing yourself is to know what you care about most in the world. What do you care about? What's really, really important to you? Megan, family. That might be one of hers. We'll see. But the way I want you to do this is instead of, I want you to just look at that list, and I want you to write down every word that is like, speaks to you. Every one of them. And if there's something up there that you didn't, that you think should be, so there's always a whiner. Why didn't you put this? Just write that, okay? See my type on here? See, I can't see. It's my note. Okay, stop. Now, I want you to cross out and get the list down to 5. Assuming you have more than 5, get it down to 5. If you don't have more than 5, just sit tight. After you get it down to 5, I want you to get it down to 3. Narrow it down to 3. You got 3? Here's the thing about our core values. When you find that you're upset by something, or that somebody makes you really angry, or in some way you start to feel sick, like, ugh, something's wrong, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be because somebody is either, what I say, pissing all over your core values in some way, or somehow they're not being met, or you haven't had you're just in a situation where something is bugging you. So I'll give you an example. For me, a lot of times at the end of the day, and this might be good for the other forgetters in the room, my 3 are integrity, connectedness, and fun. Sometimes at the end of the day, I start to feel like sick, like, something's wrong, like I might throw up. Then I realize, ooh, I told somebody I would do something by the end of the day, and I haven't done it. So the integrity button is getting pushed. And then that brings it to mind, like, oh, I either, if I'm not going to be able to do it, I need to either, somehow figure that out, right? So I got to call and either tell them I'm not going to be able to do it, or I got to do it, or whatever it is. But I got to figure out how to make sure that my integrity stays intact. Right? Sometimes if I'm not having enough fun, I get really antsy and annoyed. And, and a lot of people, when you're my age, it's hard to have fun. People are talking to you about their sewage systems and their landscape guy. It's unbelievable how boring people get at my age. They're like, oh, and who do you use for your landscaper? Like, could we talk about sex or religion, please?